everyone is talking about how the good ending is tricking Gaunter Dimm and letting Olgierd go, while his soul being taken by Master Mirror is the so-called bad ending, but I think there is so much more nuance to everything. Most people overlook how bad Olgierd really was, from sacrificing his own brother to keeping his wife hostage, and even before the entire pact with the devil, which he, by the way, willingly decided to seek out, he was also a really bad guy before that. Don't let a noble act fool you, this guy was a bandit that raided the poor regions of Temeria and Velen, bringing terrible misfortune to countless innocents just for sport. So let's take a critical perspective of Olgierd's storyline and which ending really makes the most sense. So, if you look up everything about Hearts of Stone, you will see the finishes from the good and the bad ending, and I think this is a gross oversimplification to this incredible story that is morally very gray. But let me just give you the lore on why saving Olgierd is not a good ending, but also the one where Gaunter Dimm takes his soul forever can be considered a bad ending. Ideally, I would have allowed for there to be an ending kind of in the middle, like where he's not tortured for all eternity until the stars expire, but also he doesn't go free like he did in the supposedly good ending. So as you're watching this, you almost certainly know the lore, so there's no point to go crazy in the details in the background, but I think we need to talk about two specific turning points in this storyline where we can judge him. It is the pre-pact Olgierd von Everec and the post-pact Olgierd von Everec. Most of the really bad stuff he did was after Gaunter gave him a Heart of Stone, and everything that happened after and realistically could in a way be excused as he was controlled by this incredibly powerful being that is like evil incarnate. However, the main point of this video is that Olgierd wasn't redeemable from the start and he was a bad character before he even contacted Master Mirror through dark magic, and I think a lot of people overlook this aspect, especially when you examine all the lore in detail. So Olgierd was noble from a very large lineage of nobles, and you can see from the crypt and how they're noted in the book as one of the most influential families in Redania, you can see that just by how crazy large their manor is, how rich they were. However, despite the fact that they're a noble family, there is nothing really noble about them. I mean, these guys are literally just like bandits with velvet gloves. I mean, the game hints that raiding and banditry is how they became the influential family in the first place, but that was generations ago. What really makes the Von Everecs bad is at one point they were rich and they were essentially just raiding for the fun of it, like for sport. Even worse, as a Redanian family, and obviously they're not Robin Hood characters and raiding the rich of Oxenford to help the poor. Instead, the game hints that they raided Velen and the Temerian borderlands. Now, if you play the game and you've been to Velen, of course back in the day before Nilfgaard invaded, Velen wasn't really as dark, it wasn't really no man's land and an absolute ruin, but the game does indicate that it was always a very poor region, and you can see how those people really live in Velen. So Olgierd, his brother, and this band of wild ones raided this region essentially for sport when they had the money, so they didn't really need to do it, and this by itself makes him very similar to Gaunter Dimm. As you may know, Master Mirror is a crazy powerful being, but he makes people's life literally hell for the fun of it, for sport. He cursed the white into sun for literally nothing, and he just simply enjoys tormenting people for his own personal satisfaction. In a way, Olgierd met his match. Now, while in the game you can see that Olgierd has a code of honor of sorts, he's definitely not a low-class, just ruthless bandit, but that doesn't mean that he isn't a bandit. Raiding as a term in video games has really been super watered down, but what raiding really means, I mean, you can kind of imagine, and he has for sure brought a lot of evil to so many innocent people, completely innocent people. Olgierd, as we can see from the tavern that he ransacked, has this code of honor where he will pay for the damage, but don't you dare say anything to him or he will come to burn your house down. I mean, he's essentially just bullying people in sort of a nice way. So all of this is Olgierd before he even came upon his misfortune, before he even got with Gaunter Dimm, and in a way, I think him meeting evil incarnate was karma in a way. Now, after he lost his fortune and his wife's family didn't want him and they wanted to marry her off to the Fairy Prince, that is where most of his really bad crimes happen, and that is what everyone is talking about and considering, but in a way, a lot of this can be attributed to the Heart of Stone. Here he of course did some really bad things, and also this was before the pact, but this guy literally made a pact with the devil. He sacrificed his own brother, who, as you can see from the wedding, actually loved him, and never would have believed that Olgierd would do something like this. Then he kept his wife as a hostage in the house, he killed her father, fed him to the dogs, he cursed the Ophiri prince, turned him into a toad, and then sent Geralt knowingly to get into serious danger without giving him the full story. He also attacked the manor where we first found him in the questline and ultimately burned it to the ground. No matter if it's another noble, that doesn't excuse it in any way. I mean, he also later, as we learn in the Alchemy Inn, attacked another lord in his tavern and then put his servant in a barrel because he dared tell him to stop, despite paying for the damage. Now, as I said, a lot of this can be attributed to what Gaunter or Dimm did to him, but let's just say he didn't start on the right foot either. Furthermore, while Geralt was literally tricked to make this pact with Gaunter or Dimm, on the other hand, Olgierd sought him willingly. He studied dark magic, paid a lot of people. A lot of people know that dark magic is bad. It all could have super easily just been avoided. This is to top it all, of course, with everything we've learned in Iris's painted world and everything he did to her, from summoning that monstrosity, the caretaker, to the dog and the cat, whoever those guys are. I mean, literally, he forced her to live in this haunted house with demons. Now, the ending is definitely difficult, and what makes the story amazing is how it's clearly not so black and white, like there's not a good or a bad choice. However, essentially you have two choices. Either Gaunter or Dimm takes his soul forever, or you can save him and then you have to fight the battle of wits in Gaunter's world, where he's seemingly gone, as you had tricked him, but obviously Gaunter is not defeated for good. I mean, he's going to continue to do what he does later down the line anyway. In this ending, the so-called good ending that most of the community calls it, Olgierd starts feeling everything that happened to him, feels remorseful and feels changed, but I feel like we just kinda let him off the hook there. I mean, come on, this guy is a bandit, a criminal that sacrificed his brother, his wife, he did all these terrible things. I really don't see how this is a good ending to just let him go. Now, I do feel sympathetic to Olgierd. I don't think he deserved the so-called bad ending either, where his soul is tortured forever, but I kinda feel like the good ending would have been to free him from Gaunter or Dimm and then kill him ourselves. Kinda similar to Morkwarg in Skellige that you may remember, like this was actually a very similar curse and a questline to that. Seeing that Gaunter's punishment is worse than anything that can happen to you, as he can torture you until the stars expire, as the song says. While Olgierd was bad, he was not irredeemable or that bad that he deserved that fate, but also I don't think he was so redeemable that he should have just been let go as if he had done nothing. This also kinda makes the Heart of Stone such a masterpiece as well, and a very realistic scenario. As I said, it's not black and white whatsoever. Personally, I don't feel any ending is really satisfying. It's kind of the lesser evil thing that pretty much the entire Witcher series is based off. Thank you for watching. Check out the DLC leak that we have on the potential Zerikania expansion that could happen in May this year by clicking on the screen, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. See you next time!